What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Billy Collins.
Matt Doje.
And this is Magician.
And the Jock.
Guys.
You like that intro?
It's good.
I felt like I was like, I don't know what butt in. That
like
sounds really good.
It's like Matt's like a skipping CD over there. What's going on?
We've practiced that a few times, I guess.
It reminded me of Big Black on, remember that show, Rob Black?
Rob Big, yeah.
They had that turtle. He's like, Speedy, clack, 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 clack.
Yes. So on that note, man, we got a big
this
guest.
is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun show.
This guy has been begging to come on the show.
I mean, he has knocked on our door every day, and we just turned him away.
8 years I've been begging.
I'm like, dude, I don't even know a guy named Billy.
Yeah.
But no, we got Mr. Why don't you introduce him? You know him better than I do.
Country badass Buck.
That doesn't have a ring to it, but I'll take it.
We'll take it. You know,
Look good on a bumper.
yeah. Well,
sticker.
you're a badass in our place. I mean,
Thank you so
you're
much, yeah.
one of our staple bands in
Yeah.
our establishment, but you're a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah.
I feel like you just do it for mercy sometimes for us.
Nah, that's one of my favorite places to play, man. You've
Jack's.
seen the women at Jack's.
I've never been to Jack's.
Carrie, my wife doesn't know.
Yeah.
Carrie and them's, back in the day, they didn't used to have country bands. So, like, giving a country band a shot was...
It was a lot of cha-cha slides.
that
back
was,
in the day.
yeah. So, giving them... And they took a chance on us back in the day when nobody was booking, like, a pure country red dirt artist band. They always booked us in...
So why don't you, for the people, the one person that doesn't know who you are,
Yeah.
maybe give people a little bit of background on what you. Why are you on the show?
I'm a singer-songwriter / alcoholic. No, I'm just... I've been
Brutally
playing music
honest.
for years and years and years, man. I just go by singer-songwriter. I'm more a red dirt country artist than
Red
fucking-
dirt. What's
It's more of your...
not bro country?
not
Traditional
road country.
backwoods type.
Well, I think it's anything other than what Nashville's putting out, or
Right.
any.
Not
I think it's more.
overproduced.
It's got a more truthfulness to the lyrically.
Yeah.
And the music is more thought out.
Because you're from West Virginia originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bluegrass,
So,
kind of
like
bluegrass.
music for the Appalachians and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, the term red dirt, I think, come out of Texas, Oklahoma.
I was going to say that's a Texarkana. Was
Yeah, and there's a
type.
huge, years ago when I first started playing, I had traveled down with a buddy of mine. He was a truck driver and brought me back a live CD of a guy named Robert O'Keefe.
Yeah,
Live
yeah.
down
Oh,
there.
God.
Yeah.
At was it Floors? Floors Country? No, it was it's John T. Floors. Robert O'Keefe live. And then I was in basic training in the Army.
So how old were you around this time when?
This was 20, 21.
So a couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Like 3-4 years ago.
Born on a leap year.
Yeah. So, and then I was always a huge Steve Earle fan.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, I like the, there's certain, and it's the same way now. There's certain artists that are Nashville artists that you can't deny that they're a goddamn genius.
Yeah.
That they're a true artist.
What would an example be? Well,
Eric
I know
Church.
Chris
Eric Church.
Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton.
He was a songwriter long.
Yeah, I
he's
mean, I
blowing
went and seen
up.
Chris at in Raleigh at City Limits before he had. I think it was before he ever put out an album.
Yeah.
Because I knew who the hell he was due to Steelwoods or whatever his band was
Yeah.
before that. And I remember trying to get people to go, man, let's go see this guy, Chris Stapleton. And everybody's like, who the hell is Chris Stapleton?
And you were like, dude, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
before this
I
guy
mean,
blows up.
Can you kind of see that in people?
Do you see that in us?
Yeah.
It's a matter of a long time.
On certain days, I see it in myself, and certain days, it's like, yeah, I ain't got it. You know what I mean? You always have the self-doubt as an artist, and I
Sure.
think that keeps driving you to do
Yeah.
to try to one up yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird. We're at a point now that it's people know who the hell I am in a
Yeah.
lot of places, and
I
I'm
talked
still
to a couple people who they were coming on. They're like, dude, shut up. No way. And
I'm not like I'll go talk to the band. I'm like, holy shit, these people know who we are. Like we'll go to North Dakota, people know who we are. We go to
Yeah.
Texas, people know who we are. It's like, what?
This is-
it's
it's
so
weird.
Is it weird? I mean, because
it's
even our little, we joke around because we'll go out to one of the other bars, not Jack's,
Yeah.
whatever, and they'll immediately, oh, you guys have that podcast.
Like, oh my God, it's that Jock and that other guy.
Yeah.
And the other guy, the little guy that's with them.
So we did a show the other night with a band out of Texas called Pecos and the Rooftops, and it was in Charlotte, and it was kind of a last minute throw on, and so at the end of it, they had a photographer that was going around. He's like, man, I hear y'all play in Texas a lot, blah, blah, blah. If you ever need a photographer here, I said, well, let's swap information. So I pull out my Instagram account, and I show him, and he just like dropped his phone. He's like, I don't know why I just didn't put this together, but In Came You is one of my favorite songs ever. I spent the last 5 years searching for a song in an empty bottle. I had lives, but none that I should use. But then came you, and then came you. He's like, look, dude, it's like top playlist of my year. And then like, he's like, I've been so busy tonight, I didn't even pay attention. He said, and so then he, and there's a guy named shout out Doug Champion, out of Texas. I think he's out of Colorado now.
Big fan of the show.
He's a beast, man. He's a personal trainer, but ex-rodeo stud, and him sharing us around Texas and Oklahoma and on the rodeo circuit and stuff like that has just blown us up.
Kind of grassroots.
It's kind of I mean, but he knows.
Did you ever sell mixtapes out of your trunk? Like Master P?
I did the demo. Went and did a shitty demo. If I had oh my God, I heard it like a year ago, like my first ever like demo.
Was it on a cassette?
No, we had CDs at that time.
Okay,
so
not that old.
I do remember like writing at a younger age with the little, like, my mom was a court reporter.
Oh, so she had that recorded,
so she had,
yeah.
Like and you put in the little tapes. And I do remember like hitting that and trying to make what now we know as work tapes. Like you'd write something, or you just wanted to hear yourself sing something, and you make those tapes. But then I would like shove them in a drawer and hide them or throw them away because it wasn't, you know what I mean?
I would imagine being a musician, you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
For the practice.
And then you're waiting for someone really to be like, man, you sound really good. And you're like, oh
yeah.
Here's a whole drawer.
Like
listen to this.
I'm not a shy guy. I can talk to anybody, but I didn't used to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't do big crowds. I'm not in the norm, man. Like, it didn't take me long to realize I was different. I can appear the same as everybody else, but I'm not the same as like, y'all want to go out, hang out in a crowd of 300 people, I'm not down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like sitting around the room. If y'all want to go to...
It's kind of weird as a performer because I'm not in anywhere the stature that you perform, but I've performed in front of couple thousand people before. So I've been in front of big crowds. And then when you're done, you're just like so drained, you don't want to be around anyone else.
Well, that's like everybody asking about an after party afterwards, you know, and, you know, you we're like, let's go get some Whataburger and go to sleep, you know.
Right.
Because none of us, we don't, you know, we smoke weed, and maybe drink a little bit, but we don't. None of us are like drug addicts or, you know.
They can quit whenever they want. Yeah. They have it under control.
I've never.
That's right.
My feet are strong.
But yeah, I've never been like dance club kind of guy, you know.
Yeah.
Like going, you know,
even
in my 20s, you're trying to.
Ecstasy will get
even in my 20s, we would go and like, like my buddies, let's go to a dance club. I mean, I'd go, you'd get drunk and you start having a good time, but like.
The mood's got to be perfect.
I was always awkward about it. You know, like I don't like being around a big crowd of people and being one of the crowd. And everyone's like, that's the weirdest.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing to have.
Venues, yeah.
Yeah. I like being in front of them.
But it's because, I mean, I played college sports, college ball, played in front of 80, 90,000 people. And that's the, like, huge places, but you don't really count your, like, I was listening to a thing you were talking about on an interview where you played in front of like 500 or 600 people, but you're not counting yourself in that 500 or 600. There's like a there's like a barrier between the stage and that, and like, you can walk off
I have
stage.
to really, 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 really like somebody to want to go to a concert. I have to really, really like you. Like you know, we went to Zach Brown one time, and I love Zach Brown, but we went and it was at the theater in Raleigh or whatever. I don't know how many that place holds, but it was like record numbers.
Right.
You know, usually the lawn's like peppered with people sitting, and then down here is packed.
Yeah.
It could be Kenny Chesney or whoever's big at the time. You know, the walkway around that place, like the you had to walk up these steps to get to the bowl or whatever. We were sitting on the rail to the sidewalk. You couldn't even get on the grass, and I was there 30 minutes. I was like, we're done. I'm out.
Gotta go, yeah.
I I
can't do it.
Feel bad for the chick in cowboy boots that was standing right behind you. She's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I didn't come here to see this.
We went and got like $50, two $50 T-shirts and left.
Yeah.
And called it and said, hey, I was there.
I've never gone to concerts.
So how's that, man? Because that was one of my dreams was to play in NFL.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't my dream.
I'm just talking about like.
It was cool.
That's got to be the dopest thing to run to a tunnel. Like,
yeah, no, it's cool. I remember East Carolina, we had this pirate ship, and the doors would open. But they would have these smoke machines, so you could not see anything. So you're like, you see everybody just trying not to roll, like tear their ACLs, and they're like, okay, now run. So it was cool.
I felt so sorry for like rookies last year.
Yeah.
They didn't get
like
that up.
You got drafted. This is your time to shine.
What about high school seniors that like their entire football season was canceled?
That's
like,
that's a lot of tapes off the table to colleges. But I'm just saying, if you're your top prospect, you go to the Bengals and your name finally gets called and you run out to a tunnel to an empty stadium. That had to suck, man. I know you're making millions, but still, you know as well as I do, a lot of kids, that's the money
dream,
doesn't matter. Yeah. That's the dream to. So I felt sorry for a lot of those kids last year, or the guys that didn't get a chance to fight for like a practice squad spot.
Yeah, man, I know most athletes, you ask them, they prefer playing on the road. Because there's nothing worse than when you're, like I played in the Northeast in New York, when your own team would boo you. You get what I'm saying? Like, that happens kind of everywhere, but like, especially in New York, it would be one drive and they're booing Eli off the field. Now, when you're on the road, it's just you and your team. If you hear booing, that means you did something good. You know? So it is pretty cool.
Yeah, I always wanted to. I mean, it's kind of probably the same thing as walking out.
I would say it's.
But
I was part of a much bigger team, but I was a punter, so you're kind of out on the island, just like you. Like all eyes are on you.
Yeah,
you know. You're like a drummer, like something easily replaceable. Like Diamond does.
That is not a correct statement. Trust me. That is the opposite.
Poor Ray.
But so when did you? Because I was listening to another interview, and you kind of grew up listening to like hard rock and
dude, I played
metal,
drums since
Pantera.
I was in 7th grade. Like Pantera is still my favorite.
Yeah.
If I'm doing like squats or bench press or deadlifts or whatever, it's
Get that
Pantera.
heart
Vulgar
pumping.
Display of Power, Rage Against the Machine, Evil Empire.
Yeah.
Avenged Sevenfold came after.
Yeah, man.
I can
love
appreciate.
Avenged Sevenfold.
I can appreciate them, but I don't listen to Korn.
Mm-hmm.
Little
Slipknot.
I appreciate them, but no, I was more the Metallica.
Okay. Which is kind of common. I follow a lot of would you say Red Dirt, but maybe like more like the bluegrass, the Benjamin Tides, Culture Walls. A lot of those guys came up on.
I call that
metal.
Americana.
Americana, yeah.
Well, the deeper storytelling. If you listen to a Metallica album, the writing is exceptional.
Yeah.
Enter Sandman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Master of Puppets. The writing is. If you
deep.
actually
And
listen
like,
to
it's
the
like a
words,
poem,
he's an incredible writer.
Right.
Like you think of the song One.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
my God.
It's just
dude. That's and then if you play drums, learning how to play one, the double bass pedal and everything. I remember as a kid, we couldn't even afford a double bass pedal.
I quit long before that level.
Yeah, but that was the.
Did you like country come up? There was like as a kid, you're like, man, country's lame. I always thought country was so lame. Then you have your first beer and you're like,
I'm a lot older, so I came up in the Garth Brooks type genre, George Strait, Alan Jackson. That was kind of like,
in my opinion, George Strait's king of country.
Yeah, he is. And
now a lot of people don't know George probably never wrote one of his hits ever. Dean Dillon and Steve Bogard, which I actually got to write with Steve summer before last, which was huge for me as a songwriter to write with somebody who's wrote with like Dean Dillon and so I'm sitting in a room with some of these guys that I had the opportunity to write with, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm here. You know what I mean?
Man, that is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
that's like us sitting.
Because I have a song called Easy Go.
What do you want the show to be about? Yeah,
I have a song called Easy Go. It's got 13 number one George Strait title songs in it, and it's about singing a song to a girl or playing.
Imagine that
you're trying to get some pussy to
right.
and she likes George Strait, so you're playing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a true story.
Yeah, George Strait is royalty.
I always blew it, but I never did.
Man,
I wasn't a Mac Daddy in high school.
You weren't.
Shy, man.
I don't know. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I didn't come out of my shell till I was after the Army, after basic.
Oh, okay.
They forced it out of you.
Nah, you just grow up. I was, my house was, my mom was real religious, and she tried to shelter the outside world. And my dad was like this. He worked at DuPont, but he like Harley riding, tattoo. We didn't. Now me and my dad's like best friends now, and like hearing some of the stories, like it wasn't a marriage made in heaven, but I had great parents. Both of them was great parents, and they didn't end up staying together. And later on in my life, but so like I was raised like kind of sheltered, and then but find out my dad was like.
In the Hells Angels?
No. I mean, no. I actually had one of my. Well, I'm not gonna say that. We'll talk about.
What was that? What was that? Any Which Way But Loose? The Black Widows. Is it
that?
Any Which Way But Loose with Clint Eastwood with Clyde, the ape?
No, I mean we had. That's something I did find out, and I'm not gonna name the name of things, but like when we were like remodeling our house as kids, like we'd have like.
It's like cash.
Outlaw bike, like 1%ers that were friends with my dad.
Really?
Or one of my best friends growing up, his dad was Really? I'm not naming shit because I don't want
Get it.
I mean, it was like
I don't want you to get you too in trouble.
When you're a kid, you have no clue who the hell anybody is.
They're all just your uncle, like Uncle.
But later on in life, you learn who to. It's like holy shit.
We talk about that in shows where it's a weird time when your parents become humans.
Yeah.
Because they're like
they're
not
superheroes.
They're like my dad was the original Google search. Like any question I had, Dad answered it.
That was it.
Then you see like an old home video, and you're like, is he doing a beer bong right now? What the hell?
So my mom was like and I love my mom, but she's like a turtleneck wearing, real conservative, not worldly person.
Yeah.
And she played music. That's where I got my music talent from. She's an incredible singer, incredible guitar player. Her whole family
played like a lot of church hymns.
Church hymns, gospel music on the front porch. Everybody played an instrument. There'd be five or six cousins, sisters singing harmonies and stuff while the kids played in the front yard.
That's awesome.
That's how it got in me. And of course, you want to rebel. So like, I don't want to listen to that.
Play
shit.
some Pantera, Mom. Damn it.
So like,
Amazing Grace.
All my friends were like, man, you listen to that country shit. But in the back, I have a buddy named Jeremy Spears. We both played drums together. And we're both listening at his house to Dwight Yoakam's album because Pete Anderson, his guitar player, was a god. So we recognized in other music really good musicianship or songwriting skills or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was really Dwight Yoakam that kind of turned me.
Yeah.
And then when I sing, I couldn't sing rock. I sound like a hick. So,
Yeah.
Dwight Yoakam's actually from Kentucky as well. So, all the guys that everybody said, oh, you sound like this guy. We all grew up within 2 hours of each other.
Right.
Or were raised in the same vicinity of the Appalachians.
The dialogue.
Yeah.
So when was the first time that you realized that you could sing? Like at that.
I performed my first show. My mom's got a Polaroid of it. She still has the guild. She's holding the guitar up, and I'm literally on the neck and I played Little Red Caboose at like a church. We had like square dances and stuff, and potluck. We called them potlucks or ox roast or whatever. And it was just basically a big cookout for everybody in the church. And they had a talent show. People would dance, people would sing, people would whatever. And it was that.
How old were you?
5. Yeah.
And you knew from that point.
Well, I mean, I didn't really. You
don't really know, but people.
When you're 5, you're coached.
People probably came up to your mom and dad and were like, hey, he's actually really good. Like, we weren't just clapping because he's a 5-year-old. Like, he actually could carry a rhythm.
Yeah,
and
I see it in I've got 2 daughters, and both my middle daughter and my youngest daughter can sing. Like, I know they can carry a tune. And my youngest daughter can move her vocals already. Like, I know she has it in her. Like, she'll be walking around the house singing Frozen, hitting the notes. She's like 4 and 5.
Yeah.
She goes, ooh, she'll just roll the stuff up.
My son walks around singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Bat.
Little Bat?
That's the only lyric he changed the whole song.
Coronavirus.
Yes, right. But no, we have a theme on the show where we talk about be great at what you're good at.
Yeah.
So, like, you can tell with your daughter, she's naturally good at that.
Yeah.
Has the potential to be.
And I'm the type parent, too, like people, they all play sports and stuff, and none of them are athletic. Like my middle daughter, God bless her. She's just... Oof. She's getting better.
Bless her heart.
Like even when I played at a younger age, I had no clue what was going on. It wasn't until I was, junior, senior year of high school that it clicked in my head that, hey, I'm a good football player. Or, hey, I can,
right.
And when some kids get it at a young age. And if you see it in them at that young age, then be the parent that, sign her up for travel ball because she has potential to be that. But you got parents parents that are like
delusional.
Yeah.
You
got guys coming, like, the funniest thing is when dads come to games, like, wearing Under Armour shirts, like they're going to get asked to play, like, 8-year-old softball.
Come on, Blue.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Blue, they hit the corner.
I stand back, I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not that dad. Like,
They're like pageant moms, but they're dads.
basically, yeah. And they're yelling at us like, she saw a butterfly, for fuck's sake, man. You know what I mean? She's not paying. Like, about 30 minutes in, they're looking at squirrels and picking flowers and digging in their ass and picking their nose. They're 8. You know what I mean?
It's the Tiger Wood effect. Some people, when Tiger Woods came on, they had all those images of his dad
Jesus
with him
Christ,
on the
have you
driving
seen
range
his son?
at 5. Oh yeah, Charlie.
Jesus Christ.
But like they saw that, like how regimented they were, and they're like, okay, if we want to make it, we need to like practice 4 hours a day. Every day.
You got to realize it's in your genes. If
100%.
If I had a son
100%.
if I had a son or anything like that, and I knew that the talent for something was there in a sport, then yeah. But not to the point where you're going to burn them out on them.
No, you're just facilitating it. Like
and Tiger Woods
like my mom did for me when she saw music. I had a drum. I'm interested in music. Music was important to my mom. She saw I was decent at it. I could sing. She likes music. Boom. We didn't have a lot of money. She went and got a used drum set.
Oh, you probably love that.
Oh yeah, and then later on in life, it's like she's like, oh, you're gonna pursue. I don't have money to record. Well, we'll see what we can do. It'd be that kind of parent.
Yeah. But you were naturally inclined to do that anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like turning pans over and like playing drums.
I have so many kids that get out of it. They don't even want to play high school because they got burnt out by the time they're 12.
Yeah.
And then we all know the people who peaked. If you're a 5'10" quarterback in high school, chances are you're not making the pros.
Yeah, and you see them on YouTube too.
Yeah.
New basketball prodigy. In the 8th grade, I'm like, you have no way of knowing an 8th
He's 4'8".
He's crossing them up now. But
yeah, and then we all knew those guys. They're like the studs, and he's going. And then you look back at it, it's like that guy was like a $155 fullback. He's not. He's a beast in middle school or a beast in high school, but you're not running over.
So how tall are you?
6'1" with no shoes on.
Okay, because you said. Because you had aspirations to play college ball. Or you played college ball.
No, I did not. Yeah,
oh, you didn't? No. Okay, you wanted to.
Yeah.
But you were a small kid and then just kind of blew up.
I was a halfback. Yeah. I mean, my dad wouldn't let us play midget league. So the time we started what was junior high then.
It's little people league now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Give it
was that Sorry, Ray.
Ray's just waiting to get on that roller coaster.
Like, good Lord.
We weren't allowed to play little person football growing up. And, my dad was right. Your bones are still growing. You bring a bone at a young age. But it hurts you when you get to school because, like you said, they're running the offense for the junior high. Junior high's running the offense for the high school because in West Virginia, football's a serious shit,
Yeah.
So, I was a running back.
Yeah.
And I was not smaller than most people, but small.
Yeah.
And then by my 9th grade year, like I said, I was going to school halls and nobody even recognized me. I was like 5'11", 205, 215-pound freshman.
Jeez.
Yeah, and wasn't playing ball. I didn't start playing ball again until my junior year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you start getting recruited by the
coaches?
I mean,
we moved around. Mom, dad's getting divorced and stuff, so I just lost interest in it. And like I said, I failed my 9th grade year going out back of the school to Elk River, run out back to school, and I hit a Zebco fishing rod down behind the school and skip class and go
with a little button on the side.
Yeah, oh yeah, man, you can't go wrong with a Zebco. But I would, just skip class and go. Parents get separated. Blah, blah, blah.
Were you doing music? I'm guessing music has.
Yeah, I played drums.
Been
I played drums. Like I said, I was in a punk rock band called Slip. And one was called
was it a Slipknot
still good friends
band?
of mine. Shout out Kenneth Starcher, one of my good friends growing up, and me and a kid named Tommy Hess, Ken, and another kid named Zach had a band called the Green Eyed Monsters.
Nice.
It was horrible, dude. It was so horrible. Like
Slip?
I'm still
I'm
Green
surprised
Eye
Slip
Monster.
didn't catch on.
Slip was like this like
They would put like
like
oil
the Vandals.
on the floor.
It was like punk. Just
heck yeah, dude.
And
Sex Pistols.
And Green Eyed Monsters was more like, I think he had a song called like My Fair Lady or something like that. It was so, it was cool.
Sounds like a hair rock, like a hair rock.
It was, it was kind of in between,
Yeah.
But like it was weird because like years later, Kenneth has a band needful things. And he's a lawyer now, you know, he just does it on the side or whatever like that. But they have a pretty good little rock band. He does like, you know, Petty and all this stuff like that. And,
wow.
But yeah, that's.
But you always knew you wanted to play.
Yeah, I always liked to.
It's like a golfer, you know.
Well, I remember. I always tell people this. I went to Charleston, West Virginia. Had a thing called a stern wheel regatta, and a stern wheel is a coal boat that that had a big stern wheel.
Yeah.
You know, shovel coal in it. It pushed
So
coal
he used to
outside.
get to. He had to ride one of those to school.
I
every
did. It
morning.
was on my bicycle had one of those.
See you in a week, Mom.
My backpack had
So
a bunch of coal.
I remember Charlie Daniels played there on a frequent.
Really?
And I remember being small enough that I was on my dad's shoulders and seeing Charlie Daniels play. And I was like, yep, that's cool.
He was kind of out. Like,
Let me ask you a question. That went down to Georgia. Who won, the Devil or Johnny?
I have no fucking clue.
Man, I think Johnny got his ass beat when those Devils jumped on the stump, started playing. Man, that
Oh no!
bass,
If you ask what the better musical lick is, it's the Devils.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
You ever heard the Devil Went Down to Jamaica? You ever heard that one?
yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah.
I haven't heard that.
Anyways.
It's about marijuana.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's interesting. So like golfers, you know, they always have their clubs in their car. Like it's always in the trunk.
Yeah.
I'm sure you started playing drums. When did you switch over playing
I
guitar?
always knew. I can't remember not knowing like 2 or 3 chords on a guitar because when I was little, Mom taught me and I sang and played.
Which is about all you need.
Yeah, that's all I still know.
pop.
That's all I still know. I mean, I'm not a good guitar player. I use a guitar. Like I thought about sitting there, and I can play some lead, you know, and I know some scales, and it just never interests me to be a Brad Paisley or a Keith Urban. And I think, like we talked about with kids' talent, I think certain people have a guitar talent. Certain people have a drum talent. Certain people can do okay at both, but some people are just gods at it.
Yeah,
And
Jimi Hendrix.
and it's their talent and their work ethic to do it. Like I literally, if I play one little complicated thing with guitar, it takes me forever to learn.
So why don't we get into how you were on a pretty well-known show.
Yeah, man.
It was well-known to everyone but you, apparently, when you went on it. But a show, maybe kind of tee that up.
Okay, yeah, I was on
We got to talk about it, man.
season 18 of NBC's The Voice.
This is The Voice.
Yeah. And I never, it's the honest to God truth, I'd never watched that show before. Of course, I've seen Facebook clips.
Yeah.
Like, I knew there was a show called The Voice. But I never said, oh my God, I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
I hate those shows.
Right.
I think they're just dog shit. And so I'm at my computer doing emails, doing booking, doing everything, and I get an email, NBC, The Voice casting, this is so-and-so Michelle or whatever. We'd love you to come invite you to
Audition.
a private audition.
Yeah.
A private audition. And I think that was 1 year, and I was like, delete.
Yeah.
I thought it was like spam.
Spam, for sure.
Yeah. So
Just send us your routing
then, like,
number.
maybe like a season later, because, you know, they have like 3 seasons in every 6 months or whatever they do.
I was about to say 18.
It's
Yeah, they
yeah,
do a lot.
but it's only been 2 years ago.
Right.
Like 2-3 years ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. They have like 9 seasons every 9 days or something, whatever they do.
Yeah.
It's a shit show, man. So I get another email a little bit later of the same thing. I just happened to be baked high at the time.
Yeah.
And I answer back, no thanks, I don't want to stand in line for 4 days to sing 45 seconds of a song or whatever I type back. And I get an email. I get an email like back, like, "Hey, whatever. This is."
We'll give you a minute.
No. It was like, I don't think you understand how this works. Can we contact you? Whatever. And I get a call.
Yeah.
You can either go to Baltimore or wherever, maybe Nashville. Just want to set you up a thing. I was like, can I think about it? Like, I don't know nothing about this show.
Right.
I'm like, holy shit, this is not spam. This is like they want me to come try out for The Voice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll let you know. And I'm like, talk to friends. Are like, and I got a few friends like, man, you need to go on there.
Right.
But in an artist's eyes, you look at it as desperation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
You're not coming up the right way.
Right. You
Like
got to
I
do
didn't
your
want. I
dues
didn't.
and-
But first of all, then you do your research. There's nobody that's ever won that show.
That's
been
done.
famous.
Yeah.
Now there's people that's been on that show that you don't remember they're on that show that have record deals. Morgan Wallen being one of them. The
Yeah.
biggest one the biggest star ever to be on The Voice. that nobody knows was on The Voice is Morgan Wallen. That's like Miranda Lambert.
I didn't know he was on The Voice.
I didn't know he was on The Voice either.
See what I'm saying?
Huh.
That show is not meant for artist or artist development. That show is meant for these 4 famous people sitting here and crowd entertainment.
Yeah.
Which is fabulous. The Voice treated me great.
It's a
the
great
crew,
concept. I love the concept.
crew,
Yeah.
the staff, the promoters, everybody that works on The Voice, just wonderful, wonderful people. It was just not my cup of tea.
It's like
I go out there first, and I'm like, okay, fine. I'll talk to friends, and we talk to the band, and I'm like, should I go do this? Should I?
The band's like, are you kidding me? Hell
Yeah, just go do it. What's the worst that can happen? So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'll go to this. It's your schedule for a 2:00 thing. I'll go to this thing. Me and my buddy go down there. We're in a hotel like 15 minutes. He's like, hey man, Keith Urban's playing at Exit Inn in Nashville. It's like right down the street. I said, yeah, I know where it's at.
So your audition was in Nashville?
It was in Nashville. I went to Nashville. So I'm not going to Baltimore, man. Or no, it's Boston.
Boston. Yeah.
Boston.
You just stuck out like a sore
Yeah.
throat.
Oh, no doubt. But so we go to Nashville. We get there the night before. My auditions are like 1 or 2 the next day. So we're right down the street, and my buddy's like, he's a Twitter dude. Excuse me. He says, hey man, Keith is playing a pop-up show at Exit Inn with Kelsey Ballerini. And I was like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, well, let me text. I grew up with a friend of mine from West Virginia who's an awesome singer-songwriter. He's got like 3 number 1 hits to his name. He's been a bass player for huge acts. Happens to be Keith Urban's bass players. I grew up with him and my mom and his mom. He's older than I am, but his name is Jerry Flowers. Incredible songwriter, incredible singer, bass player, musician. His brother used to give me guitar lessons. Randy plays with tons of people too. They're just both badasses. So I called him and said, hey man, is it just like acoustic show or?
You get some tickets?
No, he's like, how many's with you? I'll leave 4 passes at the door. I ain't seen him in years since then. He's like, I tell him when I'm down there, I was like, I'm down there for this voice tryout thing. He's like, yeah, man, good, cool.
I'm on this The Voice.
Yeah.
Maybe you heard of it.
So like my buddy, he's like all hyped up. He's
a little show.
He's like, man, that's a sign, man. We get Keith Urban backstage passes, and we get like, and we didn't even go hang out with Keith. I was like, I don't want to go hang out with him. I just want to talk to Jerry. I ain't seen him forever. He's a great guy. I looked up to him a lot. So we stood there talking to him after the show, met Kelsey Ballerini and all this bullshit.
Yeah.
He's like, this is an omen. And I was like, whatever, dude. So I have no clue how this process works.
He has like a Ouija board in the.
So I kind of go in this
Burning
room.
candles.
I kind of go in this room and I'm like, and you've seen us play. Like, I don't like care what I wear Wranglers and I wear T-shirts or Pearl Snaps.
Salt of the earth guy.
A backwards hat or something. I just. The more you try to be cool, the less you are, in my opinion. So, I'm just doing my thing. So I walk in there.
Preaching to the choir, Billy.
And I'm like thinking maybe I should dress up. And I'm like, nah, man. And Alan's like, what are you going to wear? I was like, it's just whatever I wear, dude. I'm just going to wear what I wear on stage. So I put like a pearl snap on, pair of jeans, go to this audition, got a backwards hat on.
Eyeliner.
And I walk in and you see all these people like, pressed up. Like I remember this one guy had like the like black dress shirts that have like the Saints logos kind of. They're not like bold, but you can see them in like the back.
Just like just little accents here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I call them doucheroos, man.
Yeah, sure.
Like this, it's just too much. You look like a Mexican drug cartel guy. Right. So you see all these people just trying to like. And I walk in like stained Wranglers and a backwards hat.
People started giving you their food orders. You're like, no, I'm here.
I'm like, so I go in and I'm not nervous. I'm like, at the point, I was like, let's just get this shit over with because I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
My time comes. I walk through this room, and the way it works is you have to stand on these footprints like you're in fucking basic training. And you can't move because and I didn't know at that time they'd be filming you. And I get like antsy around cameras. Like I don't I'm trying
this
not
is
to look
a
at
thing.
that one.
Yeah.
I'm not like I'm self-conscious. I don't like the way I look on film or pictures or anything like that. I just like playing me. I'm not about myself. So I go to sing the first song, and I'm doing. You have to do a cover. You can't do anything you wrote. So I pick what I think I can do good at, which was One Number Away by Luke Combs. And I'm like singing. It's like cowardly fucking line.
Wow.
Like I'm like my eyes are fucking big anyway. So I'm like, what in the fuck is happening? Yeah. This dude stops me like 30 seconds in. And I'm sure, and in my mind, it sounded 10 times worse than it did.
Right.
And he's like, hey, man, I can tell you're nervous. I don't know the guy's name, but I'm almost positive. I could be fucking wrong. But he looked like the dude from a band called Thompson Squares, like a husband and wife band. Mm-hmm. And there was another guy, apparently he was on The Voice before. This shows you how relevant it was that I didn't know who the fuck he was.
Yeah.
They were super nice, and he's like, look, man, L.A. likes your look. You're through. Now, calm down. And he was pretty cool. He's like, now sing me the fucking song.
Right.
And I was like, I just get antsy in front of cameras, dude. I'm not a movie star. I don't like being in, because you second guess yourself when you're, hey, does this look cool, or does that not look cool?
Especially if in your mind you had downplayed it a little bit.
Yeah, I've never been a super confident dude about my looks any fucking way. I don't think, I'm not Brad Pitt, so like.
Well, you're very self-aware.
Yeah, I'm fucking,
you have great eyesight.
Shrek would be, so I sang the song, and he's like, okay, we want you through, blah, blah, blah. We're going to put you to the next round. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck this means at all. I have no clue. I was like, all right, cool. So I walk away. He's like, no, you still got to sing the other two songs. I was like, all right. So I do like a John Party song, and I do Brooks and Dunn, She Used to Be Mine.
Oh, okay.
And I remember when I did that song, they were like, yeah. So then we do this interview, and we come through, and this is the weird part. You fill out a questionnaire. He's like, you're a veteran, and you're just cameo, like right here. The camera's right in your face. He's like, you're an Iraq veteran, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, God, here we go.
Yeah. They're looking for a story.
Here we go.
A story.
And they will fucking get it from you, man.
Yeah.
They will.
They're good. That's their job.
Dude, and this, like, we'll dive in it, because I've never done a podcast where I got to, like, explain this fully.
This is very fascinating.
Yeah.
So they're like, we'll call you back for the next round. Like, we're going to send all this footage. So out of like 500,000 people in Nashville, they picked 4, and I was one of them. And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And mind you, at this point in time, I'm going through some of the worst vocal struggles I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking like I had polyps on my vocal cords. I'm trying to quit smoking. It was all smoking. It was all not taking care of myself.
If I don't change, I might not be able to sing anymore.
And like, I remember getting out there, and then you're nervous. So when you're nervous, your vocals are tight.
Constricts, yeah.
Thank God for their vocal coaches.
Really?
Thank God for them, because like I didn't know what was wrong. You know what I mean? So
what was the time frame? This was a couple years ago?
This is a couple years ago, 2018.
Got it.
So they fly. I remember we had a show. Maybe it was Jack's, maybe it was not, but I had to cancel a show. Because they call me executive decisions or whatever. So they call me like on a Monday. Hey,
you canceled Jack's for The Voice?
I know,
What is wrong with you?
Could have been Jack's or like somewhere around here.
People used to have priorities.
I
man.
know.
So,
what happened?
But so they're like, hey, we fly you out on Monday. You're going to be in L.A. Basically, you go to L.A. and there's a fucking ton of people there, and they fly you. You're in this hotel. They got a schedule for you, and you're basically doing the exact same thing again, but in front of the producers live. And, they tell you what you need to do. You're filling out forms, blah, 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 blah. Don't tell this, don't say this. You can't. They tell you you're sequestered. You can't go out on town, which was shit because of fucking Comedy Store and Joe Rogan.
Yeah, right
all
there.
All them were right the fuck there.
Laugh
I couldn't
Factor.
go, And so you're there for like 3 or 4 days for that time. And you just meet people around the pool, which to me, this is the coolest part. Met like guys like my buddy Dave Finley, Joey Green. I think
Dave Finley, he's another country guy too,
my God,
right?
dude, yeah. Joey Green, Dave Finley.
Yeah.
Met Kalen Garner. I think you could tell like the artist, like, it's like
they don't
magnets.
They don't have bedazzled
Yeah,
button-ups.
I'm just saying. At that point, you're working with you got the teenage pop stars that are there with their mom. They've got like 100,000 TikTok followers or whatever the fuck they got. Or before TikTok, that was before TikTok. So like, you've got. Then you're introduced to a world of different music.
Yeah.
But like the country guys or the Americana guys, like me and Dave Finley, like he come out, he's like, you look like a guy, me and you get along.
Yeah,
and of course, he's a little older, got a beard. We said it ended up being great friends. Done great shows with him.
Yeah. Great voice too.
Oh, he's the best singer I know.
I heard him like,
and I'm telling you right now, he's the best singer that I know.
Yeah.
And like we write songs together, and he'll sing like the demo, and he's like, man, you need to do that song. I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to do it? Like after you just did that, you know what I mean? Like I sound like Brooks and Dunn, you sound like Stapleton with more balls. You know,
he's like Stapleton with a lot more.
He's like Mark Broussard and Stapleton had a baby.
Yeah.
I swear to God, he is. It's just soulful. He can go so loud, and he's got so good falsettos, and he can rasp, and he can change that rasp. He's a fucking amazing. How the fuck is he not what he is? You know, he's doing great.
Trump supporter.
Yeah. That's funny. I can actually tell you a story about
I bet they were like, do not say anything about President Trump.
Not then.
Unless he's Hitler.
Not then. It wasn't. It's amazing how that's just kind of. It wasn't a big thing then.
Yeah.
Like we didn't talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
So we go out there, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make this round. Like before they called me back, I was like, I'm not going to get called back.
Sounds like you're in a really good mental headspace. You're like, the first audition, you're like, well, I'm not going to make it. So
I'm definitely not going to make the second one.
Yeah.
I just never seen myself as a dude that does that.
You're just doing the math.
Right.
It's
Yeah, you know. So end up, I'm like, we're down by the pool, and I'm like, dude, I'm starting to get a migraine or something. So I was like going up to my room to lay down. I remember laying down. About 10 minutes later, I get a phone call. Hey, this is so-and-so from Voice Casting. We'd like you to come down to Banquet Room B within the next 10 minutes. I was like, all right, I'll be there. So I'm walking down, and I'm so fucking clueless. I have no clue what's going on. I was like, and I start walking about halfway down. I see people coming out of the rooms. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going home now. All right, I didn't make it. So I go down, but I see people with their bags. And I'm like, am I supposed to have my fucking bag? Like, am I
supposed to be going somewhere?
Yeah. So then I go in a room, and granted, at this point, we're like 3 days in. I've heard people sing, and I know there's some fucking badass motherfuckers on the show.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just a honky-tonk singer. You know what I mean? Like, there's some of the best vocalists that I've ever met. Not artists. And I do realize that what sets you apart is your writing, or you yourself, you know. But when you're in a situation like that,
just the amount of talent.
it's the voice.
Yeah.
It's the fucking voice. It ain't about, hey, you know, Steve Earle to me is not a great singer, but he's a fucking great artist.
Or Jimmy Buffett's prime.
It's the package.
Like you hear Jimmy Buffett, you're like,
Yeah.
how did this guy sell 5 billion albums? Yeah.
And I've never been one to write a belt song. I've got a few that like I will show off some range on. I just write fucking songs. I don't care about like has to be.
You mentioned in another interview songs that stick, which I thought was a really interesting.
Well, I don't. When you get to a songwriting aspect of it, I just write what I fucking write, and if I think it's a good song, then we throw it out there. If I don't think it's a good song, I shelf this shit.
Right,
you know, I don't sit there and say, hey man, this line will work because you know people are into squatting their truck. I could sit down and take a shit and write a song about fucking.
Yeah.
Trucks and how to be a redneck and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Oh, you know, Daisy Dukes and all this shit. I could fucking write that in my fucking sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something with like substance.
Yeah,
to
a
it.
cold beer, a warm night. You ever heard what Bo Burnham?
Pandering.
It's a fucking scarecrow again.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So anyway, I walk in the room and I'm like, I know these fucking people ain't going home. I've heard every one of these people sing. And then they're like, hey, you made this round. Everybody in this room has an opportunity for a blind. So then I was like, we're all looking around at each other. And I remember Dave's like sitting next to me. He's like, congratulations, man. I was like,
we're not going.
are you sure I'm in the fucking right room? You know what I mean?
Where's Ashton Kutcher?
So then like, now's where the work starts. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like, everybody in here's got to take like a 600-question psychological test.
Oh no!
This is where it gets where people have no fucking clue, right?
It's like it was at the combine we had to do the Wonderlic test.
The Wonderlic, yeah. But this is not like
that was
math
10
and shit.
questions. Yeah.
This is a 500 to 600 questionnaire thing of the weirdest goddamn questions you've ever fucking read, and it's a psych eval.
What are they just trying to make sure you're not a serial killer?
They don't want people that's going to blow up, like if you get rejected, or that you know, can you work with the? But we sat there like going down the rabbit hole. Once we got out there and we're finally involved in the show. Like I remember me and Joey Green, and you know, weed's legal in California, so we're not supposed to have it, but we're all getting pins and shit and getting just fucking baked by the pool and going like, how did Kelly know what jacket size you wore when you picked Team Kelly? I'm like, that's a fucking good question, bro. Like, she had the jacket size perfect for me. Well, they measure you for a jacket, you know. Anyway, so we're going down this rabbit hole of like,
how does she know how to spell my last name?
That psychology test tells them a fucking ton about how to manipulate you to get what they want out of you. Oh. Well, they called me in this office and said, hey, man, we have a problem. You failed the fuck out of that.
Wow.
You're like a psychotic episode waiting to fucking happen. This is fucking true. They sent me to 4 different fucking psychologists.
Wow.
And I fucking shit you not. It's so funny. I barely tell people the story, but it's so fucking funny. I'm like, am I fucking nuts? What the fuck
seriously,
is going on?
I'll be like, they can't all be wrong.
The questions are like, have you ever had weird sexual experiences? I'm like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't call
hey,
it
have
weird.
you ever fucking killed somebody? Fuck yeah. You know, you're like, you know.
Then come to find out
that veterans, people with PTSD,
got it.
Firefighters, police officers fail the fuck out of those tests because we've seen real world shit.
Right.
And so we've come to find out, they're like, okay, never mind, you're a veteran, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they failed this test. So they passed me on through.
Got it.
All right. So, I mean, I'm like, why in the fuck?
They were just scared to tell you got to go home. You're like, no, he's going through.
Really have to.
No, I mean,
he's a monster.
Well, I remember the woman asked me, she's like, would you, shoot up a place? I was like, no. She's like, would you run after a shooter? Like if you, I was like, probably. Depends on how the mood's set up, you know what I mean? Yeah. She's like, well, you're a protector, blah, blah, blah. So people with PTSD or people war veterans or whatever like that don't do good on them tests. Yeah. So, I mean, you talk about a mind fuck. Yeah. Like you're sitting there on a fucking TV show and they're telling you you're goddamn, you're about to fucking be an Aurora shooter, dude. You know what I mean? I'm like,
got to sing Old Troubadour in like 5 minutes.
But it's the way they question them and they tell you to be completely fucking honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, what about weird sex? I'm like, I don't know. Most people don't have, I've had threesomes and shit way back when,
Yeah.
Oh, that's not, man. I said, what the fuck is weird then? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I was related to the 2 girls. Okay, now that's right. He had a point.
They were my cousins, goddammit. That's weird as shit. No. You know what I mean? So I was answering truthful. Yeah. So it's like, dude, it's 5, like, I want to say it's anywhere between 550 to 600 questions. And they literally came and got me from the hotel one time and drove me to another psychologist's office that ended up being the same thing. It's like, people with PTSD don't do well on those questionnaires. And I'm like, it's the fucking weirdest thing. Then you go down the rabbit hole. So then I made the show. I got 2 chairs turned, Blake and Kelly. And I already knew in my head that I was going to do something. I knew I wasn't going to win the show. I've heard everybody fucking singing this shit. And I knew that I wasn't going to give them the story. The first whole thing about it was they wanted to talk about the war. And I said, well, if we're going to talk about this shit, we're going to bring attention to soldier suicide, which is effective.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not a fucking Chris Cow. I'm not, Marcus Trail. Or my war situation is nothing to make a movie about unless it was a comedy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got in firefights and we found bombs and shit like that. But it wasn't.
You weren't going to use it as a launch pad.
I'm not trying to be famous for doing a job I signed up to fucking do.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to play on it anymore. And like the longer it drug out, the more I got agitated with trying for them to. And I'm not like saying blaming them, but at one point I stood up and took my mic off and fucking threw my shit on the couch and said, I'm done for the day. I'm not talking about this shit anymore. And that inspired. I wrote Irish Road like at 4 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, because they set me to a place where
Irish Road is. I'm sorry, I'm ignorant, but I'm guessing that's a big song.
It's one of my deeper songs, and it's about Route Irish in Iraq. Yeah.
Wow.
But I remember I telling them, I was like, "Look, you don't understand. I'm sequestered here. Like I can't leave the fucking hotel. I can't have a fucking drink. I can't go and just be a normal person. And every day you're asking me about fucking Iraq." And I don't want to think about Iraq.
Right.
I want to fucking, and so when you're alone in your own fucking thoughts, it's not a fucking good thing. You know what I mean? It's like, so you're wanting me to be all sad and shit, and that's not who I am anymore. So I'm like, fucking send me home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And that, being in the hotel room, I did American Idol twice. Yeah. And you were there forever. And I was just one day. I can only imagine being there for like a week or.
Oh, dude. Like, it's.
Because they tell you, do not leave this lobby.
We were there for fucking like it seems like months, like a month and a half. I know it was a fucking while, like 3 times. Like we go because I got sent home on the battles, which at that point I'd already been like, fucking send me home. You know what I mean?
How nerve-wracking was it
I wasn't nervous at all. Once I got to doing the live shit, I was fine with it. I can play live.
I shouldn't say nerve-wracking, but it's like it's kind of like to me. It reminds me like gym class, whether they're going to
the nerve-wracking part is that
turn around.
When it started sucking for me bad, is they was wanting to try to find this story. You know, we write about soldier suicide and stuff, and then maybe my life's not that interesting, dude. I'm a struggling musician who's got an underground fan base
in a
certain region. I like to hunt and fish, and I got 3 daughters and a wife. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm that's not a very interesting story. So I understand what they're fucking doing, but and then on top of that, I'm battling a fucking 14-year-old girl. Right, like that's who I got to sing a song called "You Look So Good in Love With." So I'm singing the fucking 14-year-old kid. You look so good in fucking love, and nothing about that seems fucking right.
Right.
And not Chevelle, God bless her. Her and her mom are fucking wonderful people, but like I'm riding in a van. Now? I'm traveling everywhere because of the work laws and stuff. They have to have their parents with them. So I'm with a bunch of goddamn stage moms.
Oh my
and
God.
Fucking young kids that are fucking think this is the end all be all to
stardom and
like and they like I remember we walked in. Her special guest was because I was on Team Kelly. Her special guest was what the fuck's that dude's name?
Which one?
Windows down, country sound. Who the fuck sings that? Red Atkins boy. Thomas Rhett. He's a special, like the guest person. I'd fucking done shows with him already. Like I'd opened for him and stuff. Like he's a nice guy.
Now he's like your mentor.
Like and then we go in and like
this.
I remember even him. I was like I could honestly tell he fucking I remember you opened that show. So like they're like
weird.
Mikele, act excited. I was like, this is what you get, dude. I'm not gonna.
She's 14. What was can you give me an 18-year-old at least?
Make it legal. You know what I mean? And she ended up winning the show.
Wow.
Like Chevelle did, which is. I remember getting in a van, and Chevelle's mom was just a lovely person.
Yeah.
That woman was just. They're from like New Mexico or something, and she was just the least stage mom of stage moms. She still had a little bit of stage mom in her. I mean, she wants her kid to do good, but it wasn't.
14,
it wasn't like overbearing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She wasn't like living through her daughter.
So exactly. She just wanted the best, but I mean, she could have been what I seen. She was not. She was just a very lovely.
I think she had the hots for you, man.
14-year-old or no? That's odd that you would say that.
Why would you say that?
Only recently.
You should do 10 Hail Marys. You should do 10 Hail Marys.
You shouldn't have gave me whiskey, man. Jeez.
No, they were just, her dad's like into cars. He's a roughneck like me, and her mom was kind of, a country person. We were the same kind of.
So the whole thing just felt like fabricated, or
it
felt just like
it wasn't fabricated. It was like, it's the most awkward.
I would never do this ever.
Yeah, I would never fucking do this.
Yeah,
and
that's how the combine was, man.
Then when when you first got out there, everybody's like, "Hey man, I'm here. Oh my god, I want to write a song together." Blah blah blah. And then after a while, it's like competition. Who do you think's going to win this? So you're out there. I'm an adult, right? I'm hanging out. So my day's filled with hanging around kids and their parents. Well, the fucking parents is worse than the kids.
Oh, yeah.
All they wanted to talk about was who you think's going to win that battle. I was like, I don't fucking know, man. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like, can we? Like, I remember telling one kid's dad, like, hey, look, man, you're a good dude, but if you want to talk about this show, just don't fucking talk to me.
Right.
But if you want to talk about me, tell me about your fucking job. Tell me. I mean.
Yeah.
Did you play ball? Just give me a comment. We are stuck the fuck here, dude. We can't even leave the hotel. I remember one night, like Chris D'Elia, Joe Rogan, Joey Diaz, were all at the fucking Comedy Store. Like, we were in Burbank, so it was like not very far away.
Yeah.
And we couldn't fucking go. We were trying to sneak out and shit like that, but nobody wanted to blow their fucking opportunity.
Yeah.
Now I wished I fucking would have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is crazy.
So I'm like, the whole time I'm with fucking stage moms and shit. One particular, I'm not going to name no names, but she was a fucking first-class cunt. You know what I mean? Like, just, I will say, bitch was from Ohio. How about that? Fucking hated that bitch. Right? And everybody else fucking did, too. She was such a fucking just snooty fucking cunt, man.
Yeah.
And
they say there's people light up a room, some when they enter it, some when they exit it.
Yeah.
So, probably heard when she exited.
God, man. I mean.
But so that's like the inner workings. How did it, from the outside looking in, I would look at going on American Idol, going on The Voice, like that can only help.
Yeah, like I said, I knew that like once I did it, there's a point of time that I think we played it smart. Through a mutual friend I met on The Voice, he knew one of the good producer in Nashville is Eric Torres, who's produced Jimmy Allen. He's worked with a bunch of other artists and stuff like that. Agreed to work with me. We went down, banged out a nice EP right after the show. And then I released it because I wanted The Voice to be forgotten, and then move away from it and start just doing my own thing. I've never people's recording the cover of the song they did on there. And still to the day, I see people that were on there, and God bless every one of my friends that are on The Voice. I love y'all. But fucking sooner or later, you got to let that shit go. I can't believe it's been 2 years since I was on The Voice.
Yeah.
I've never fucking posted nothing about it because I was in a Mountain Dew commercial too. I don't want everybody to know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want
you don't want it to be a crutch for your success. If you want to build something, build it on your credentials and what you can do.
You go forward as hey, look at me. I was on The Voice. I ain't done shit since, but I was on The Voice.
Yeah.
So you look at the people who have the most streams off the show, organic streams off the show, not their voice recording things or whatever
and we have
once they release the album, there's nobody fucking touching.
We had a bunch of magicians
except Cam Marlowe. He signed.
That would
Dave Finley
go on The Voice and do just what. Do you know Brian Sanders? Yeah. So Brian and I both went to Atlanta, and then we went to Charleston. But these guys would say, "Oh, I auditioned for the America's Got Talent," and then they would put that on every single propaganda they would put out.
It's fine, but
you didn't get anywhere.
It's good to use for a promotional thing. As seen on The Voice, whatever. Even now, clubs call me and say, "Hey, can we use that?" I'm like, "Really, you're not." I think I'm more known now for my music than I was.
You want that to be and he was also on The Voice, not he was on The Voice. And he was also a song.
Everybody's like, "How was Kelly? How was that?" Fuck, really? Do you really believe that we get to hang out with him?
How was Kelly?
Hitched a ride with the devil. Lord, I got down on his level. I even showed him a couple things that he didn't know. I spent the last 5 years searching for a song in an empty bottle. I had lines, but none that I should use. But then came you.